I remember the fear. I remember the fear I felt while I sat down in the kitchen at 10 p.m. at night and my parents weren't back home. I remember the fear I felt when the PHCN took the light and everywhere was dark. I remember the way the children laughed, the two of them so young, not knowing that anything could happen to them in the dark. I remember how hopeless and powerless I felt, sitting in the dark, being in charge of these two little girls who didn't have a care in the world. I remember the fear I felt as the clock chimed, as every second passed. Tick, tock, went the clock, seconds going to minutes, alone in the dark. Immediately I remembered all the stories. I remembered the armed robbers who cut off my auntie's finger to get her gold wedding ring. I remembered the kidnappers who took away our family friends, letting the man go to raise money for his wife's release. Tick, tock, went the clock, as minutes went to more minutes, and I was alone in the dark, left to take care of these two innocent little girls who had no worry in the world. I remembered the two sisters who were attacked in Bini. The eldest sister fought against them so that her younger sister could run away. She didn't want her younger sister to get raped, so she fought and eventually sacrificed her life for her little sister. I was afraid. I was scared. I was terrified. Tick, tock, went the clock, and it was still dark. The little girls running around and laughing. They weren't worried about the kidnappers that could get them. They weren't afraid of the robbers that could rape them. Tick, tock, went the clock in the dark, and I asked myself, would I give my life to keep this little girl safe? Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. And I knew, of course, I would. I would die to protect their innocence. All of a sudden, the gate opened. It was still dark. A car drove in, and sitting in the dark, I saw my life flash before my eyes. I stood in front of the door, ready to yell, "Run!" Tick, tock, went the clock. As the seconds rolled by, as the car parked, the doors opened, and they walked to the front door. Tick, tock, went the clock, until they knocked at the door. I said my last prayer. When all of a sudden I heard the generator go on, and there was light. I opened the door hurriedly now because I knew the danger had passed, and those lovely innocent girls ran to the door laughing. They had no worry, not one. My parents walked in. I smiled. I didn't let them know how scared I had been, because they would have laughed. I had no reason to be scared. We lived in an estate with a solid gate and a huge wired fence. No one was coming in uninvited. I started to wonder, what about all those girls that didn't live within fences? What about the people that didn't have generators to use when it gets dark? How do they get through the fear, the hopelessness, the powerlessness when it's dark and the clock goes tick, tock? The worst things happen in the dark.